Welcome traveler, this is Eve, here to present you a custom set for Magic based on Cyberpunk 2077. As always, all cards are designed to be heads of commander decks. The first card is none other than V, the Legend of Night City. For Mardu, he's a 3/3 legendary creature human samurai with Vanishing 3, Haste, and whenever it deals damage to a player, create a treasure token for each artifact and enchantment that player controls. For a black, it transforms. Picking V's color identity wasn't super easy, but unlike other RPGs where you can build a character from scratch, in Cyberpunk we take the reins of a fairly distinct individual. V is not a blank canvas where we can paint on, it will never abide to the system structures or adapt to it, so he cannot be green. Neither will it have the patience or time to lay out a well-thought plan, so he cannot be blue either. The life of a mercenary is when you pick for personal gain and tends to be low on principle. This lifestyle of high risk, high reward fits Rakdos perfectly. The one color I was more dubious about was white, but in the end I decided to include it because when it comes to jobs V's employed in, they tend to go against criminals, lawless gangs, or exploitative corpos. With a few exceptions, of course. But that's how I landed on Mardu. Vanishing and Haste embody the biochip killing V and his need to take action immediately. Every completed gig accrues eddies and creed in the form of treasures, and if V decides to take the pills, another comes into play. Johnny Silverhand Rocker Boy is a legendary creature human samurai. He's a 4/2, and when he attacks the opponent with the most life, you may double its power by discarding your hand and sacrifice him at the end of combat. He can also pump every samurai for power, haste and trample, and he can take the pills as well to let V back in control. Johnny was easier to translate into the color pie. Driven by passion, inspiring emotion in others, and desire to subvert the order of things, put him firmly into red. I gave him black too, due to the overwhelming egoism of his character and his inability to understand others. His Nova all-in ability represents him coming out with suicide plans to destroy the player who's ahead. The Samurai Anthem can pump himself as well as all the other samurai fans to deliver a game-winning punch. And Johnny too can take the pill to put V back in the driver's seat. When building a V and Johnny deck, prioritizing ways to keep V evasion is key to amassing mana. Running cards that create artifacts for all players can further amplify the speed at which you can ramp. Samurai synergies are very flavorful and functional too, but not necessary. As Johnny does buff himself, he can be a nuclear one-man army option if you have enough mana lying around without the need of his crowd. For Naya, Panam Aldecaldo's Nomad is a 2/3 legendary creature human pilot, and she reads whenever you deal damage to a player with a vehicle, you can either steal one of theirs or create a treasure. And whenever she crews, you may look at the top 6 card of your library and put it to play a top land and a vehicle under an opponent's control. Naya represents Panam well. Her strong personality allows her to go against the judgment of her superiors when it's for the better of the community, as well as her adapting and even thriving as an exile in the city while preferring the nomad lifestyle. Panam's first ability is inspired by her quest chain and being a driver for gigs in Night City, while her second poses as nomad scouting badlands to expand horizons and even finding interesting stuff to snatch from corpos. A healthy mix of vehicles, pilots and land will make for a robust Panam deck. Judy Alvarez, Mox Techie, is for Izet, a legendary creature human artificer. She's a 2/2 and can tap to exile a creature from your graveyard to create Brain Dance, an equipment with Equip 1 that gives equipped creatures all abilities from the exiled creature. Putting Judy in Izet was easy. She works as a Brain Dance editor, a job that requires knowledge and skill, but also emotional intelligence and an artistic taste. Judy is also a character driven by feelings, but that doesn't rush headfirst at problems. I translated brain dances with ability transfers, like how she teaches dolls to fight in her quest. A Judy deck will rely on Ramage, which Izzet is mastered at, to put big creatures into the grave and cheating their abilities via brain dances. River Ward, Private Detective, is a 3/3 legendary creature human detective, for 2 and bonus with Vigilance and Ward 1. He can collect Evidence 3 to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and whenever your creature connects to a player, if you collected Evidence that turn, you can return target creature with mana value 4 or lower from exile to play under its owner's control. River is a policeman of action that puts delivering justice above the confines of his role, aligning very well to the Boros Guild principles. He has Ward 1 because that's a pun. Collecting evidence gives him conviction, and his last ability is about his quest to save abducted people. Having the ability to cheat creatures from exile and messing with combat at instant speed is powerful, and the fact that he can benefit any players allows to have some occasional politic plays. For example, if you're on a card like Relic of Progenitus, you could make a deal with a player to make them allow you to get a hit in order to reanimate their Ravenous Chupacabra to deal with another player's Consecrated Sphinx. Last for this video, Alt, Rogue Black Wall Runner, is a legendary artifact creature spirit for 10 mana. She's a 7/7 with Emerge 9 and a blue, flash, hexproof, and allows you to see and cast spells from the top of every library. Alt is the only redless card in this video, and as once living rogue databank in the net, I had no clue what type to give her. I made Alt a spirit because despite everything, it is still her. Emerge is because she sprouts from a human. Flash because she's everywhere, hexproof because she's elusive, and her main ability shows how Alt can access everything. Running her should make you feel like a virus that can tap into anybody's resources to look for a win. Alt is hella expensive and vulnerable to wraths. A way to cheat her mana cost would be to emerge her from creatures that have deceptively high mana values. Aside from that, any shell that can generate a lot of mana should fit Alt perfectly. And that is that for part 1. Part 2 will be coming shortly, I promise that. And that was it. This was it. Have a good one.